Good morning, everyone. How is everyone this fine Thursday morning? A little chilly here still in California. Morning, Alex.
Morning.
What's the weather like over there right now?
I'm wearing shorts and a short sleeve.
Oh, wow. It's warm.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
It's been beautiful.
Oh, very cool.
It's
so,
currently 55 degrees outside.
so Hillary Clinton is being deposed as we speak. Oh, lost you there, Alex.
Wish it was public.
Yeah. Well, apparently she made a public statement that they released saying something to the effect that she knew nothing about any nefarious activities. Uh-huh.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she may not have been in direct contact with him, but her husband surely was. How are you gonna, you can't really retract any of those photographs that are out there with him.
Yeah.
He's
She
screwed.
just wants her blue dress back. She's pissed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. We got James coming on. Dave will not be here today. He is still at the farm show, but we have Holly. Well, I think Holly's going to be here today. I haven't seen her yet, but I'm guessing she'll be here.
I'm watching the list, boss.
All right. Well, let me say some good
Did you
mornings.
remember to do you remember to turn on YouTube and Facebook?
I did. I did.
Okay.
At the very last second. And I did apply again for the restream thing, but I haven't heard anything. Morning, James.
Morning.
Oh, try and keep that excitement down a little bit, would you please, James?
Exactly.
Jeez, dude. All right. Let me say some good mornings here. So I have switched my screens around, so if I'm a little discombobulated, everybody bear with me. So Hits is here. Good morning, Hitesh. Vicky Veronica is here. Oh, we got our first Trump train. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn the third G. Joy is here. Kiddo. Hey, Kiddo. Thank you for the level up, Sparks. Joy, Rick Sr., Mary Lise Brown. David is here. Good morning, David. Mama Bear said, Grand Rising Sam, I'm in the nosebleeds. Okay. As long as you're here, that's what counts. I'm married to Bob. Jason Coons, Teresa Ann, Wild Gorge said, hello, fun-loving, hardly working folks. Buckaroo Bob is here. King's Girl Night. Oh, we got another Trump train, Mary Lise Brown. Thank you, Mary Lise. Native San Diegan, PJ Party, Peggy, our personal cheerleader, her and Towie Bixby. Haven't seen Towie yet, but we'll see if she's here. Joy said, going to be 85 here today in Vegas. Holy smokes. Wendy's here saying, good morning from Memphis. Good morning. David said, which Hillary? Exactly. Very good point. Ego from Eastern Iowa. Joe Buckwheat 2. Hey, Joe. Tanya Moonshyber. Barb 7599. D. Hometown Girl. I Speak 1717. I Speak 17 said, Towie asked me for ID to come in the room. Yeah. There's Holly. Good morning, Holly. We're wondering if maybe
I
you
was
forgot.
somebody else.
Oh, you were?
I was going to say, I signed on and I was under something, but it was like, I'm lost.
Well, I'm glad you found it. Benji 1959. Good morning, Ben. Bat and Ballin is here. Sherry from East Tennessee. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Diva 53. Hey, Diva. Oh, yeah, you came in under your Holly Johns as opposed to, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Wrong account. Had no idea who it was. Jan, loving being grandma, said, good morning, Patriots. Good morning, Jan. Let's see. Beaver from Colorado Springs. Wendy, Deb S. PJ Party said, James, pineapple juice? I guess he's having pineapple juice. Teresa Faria,
Coffee.
contractor. Hello, Teresa. Charlie. Good morning, Charlie. Montana, David's girl. Good morning, Montana. Kiddo said, I became a title gifter for the first time. Well, congratulations and thank you, kiddo. Thank you. Cynthia Hammer is here. Richard, good morning to you, Richard. Sherry Berry, holy smokes. XRP Mama. Donna Fox is here. Tire Man, hey, Tire Man. Glad to see you, brother. Laffy Rocks, hey, Laffy. Holy smokes, man, the chat is on fire today, guys. So, needless to say, if I missed you, my apologies. It's not intentional. John Gwynn said, I followed you, kiddo. Good. Everybody should follow kiddo. Country. Oh, we got another Trump train from Ben. Thank you, Ben. Full Mental Jacket is here. Crystal Zeski, good morning. Chris Romano, Rosen Leaves, good morning, Rosen Leaves. Blue Flames 41, JP Metal Slayer, John Gwynn, Batten Ballin, Dana Mackey, Kiddo, Charlie Ferg, Mary Lees Brown, everyone, thank you for the gifts. So kind of you. All right, let's see here. Oh, look at Charlie sending us a little gardening this morning. Thanks, Charlie. All right, so Alex, what do we have in terms of indices this morning?
A mess. Good morning, everybody. 226.26. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday morning. The the markets are not. S&P 500 is currently down 68 points at 6,877. The Dow is currently down 127 at 49,135. NASDAQ down 399 points to 22,752. Looking at commodities, crude oil is currently up 86 cents at $66.28 a barrel. Spot price for gold this morning down 26 points to $5,199. Silver down $4 at $87.62. Looking at the crypto markets, down, and down. Bitcoin down 1.6% at 66,948. XRP down 3.43% at $1.40. Ethereum down 2.3% at 1,993. Stellar Lumen XLM down 3% at sitting at 16 cents. Cardano down 3% at 29 cents. Not financial advice, for entertainment and educational purposes, the context of this live, but buy the dip.
You know what's interesting, Alex, is NVIDIA came out with their earnings yesterday, blew the doors out, and yet the NASDAQ dropped. Very interesting development. Not sure what to make of it at this point, but certainly something to pay attention to. Ozzy Crosby's over here on YouTube. David Morale said, back later, I'm having a fishing trip to Somalia. Rowan IO4IR is here on YouTube. Good morning, Rowan. All right, let's see here. Wendy J just popped in. Robbie Miller's here. Holy smokes. Oh, my gosh, look at this. This is just on fire this morning. Rosen Leaf said that's their BS response to Trump taking power away from them and at the market. Well, I think the Patriots are in much more control than people realize, but how they're going to play it and what they're trying to do, your guess is as good as mine at this point. Mama Balama's here. He said, Heidi ho, neighbors. Well, Heidi ho to you as well, Mama. All right. James, what do we have for a military report today, sir? Oh, look at that dragon. Sorry.
Wow.
Jeez, slow down, James. Really, you need to pump the brakes, James. Somebody want to get an EKG on him, make sure he's beating all okay over there?
The coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
All right.
The Department of Homeland Security has announced that 56 United States Coast Guard service members that were kicked out because they refused the jab will be reinstated with full back pay. This is a victory for religion, personal and medical freedom for all Americans. In total, 8,400 service members were involuntarily discharged between August 21 and January of 23. 3,717 Marines, 1,841 Army, 2,041 Navy, and Air Force and Space Force 834. So far, records reviews are underway. While some soldiers' service members may choose not to be reinstated, some are more than willing, provided they get full back pay. Financial considerations are at the forefront, and the government should be reminded that this is a wrong that needs to be righted. Defense contractors hired many of the ousted and doubled their pay in many cases. Serving in the military is rewarding in many ways, but after being put out by the Biden administration, it would be difficult to return to any offer of restitution.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, James. Christy B78 from Hayesville, Kansas is here. Wendy J just popped in. Good morning, Wendy. Batten Ballin said, how many times will Hillary claim the fifth today? I'm guessing quite a bit, but we'll have to wait and see. I have no idea. Nut is here.
It'd make for a hell of a drinking game.
Yeah, no kidding. You'd be sloshing the first 10 minutes. All right, let's see here.
That's kind of exciting, actually.
Yeah. Why doesn't that surprise me, James, from coming from you? Huh? Oh my God. Oh, John Gwynn just sent the sour buddy to Alex. Thank you, John. Wildlife fan is here. Diana Lynn 10 just popped in. John Langloy. Holy smokes. Kelly Thurman. Hi, Kelly. Teresa Ann. PJ Party said too much pineapple juice last night for Big James. Oh, we got another Trump train from John Gwynn. Thank you, John. Oh my gosh. Rosenleaf said today's a good day. Wonder if we'll ever get to see the testimony. Good question. I can't imagine we will, but who knows? Andrea Lynn 81 said, well, Hillary claimed under oath she never met Epstein. Yeah, okay, exactly. Tim Shaw 707 just popped in. Hey, Tim. Kathleen Paschke's over here over on YouTube. She said, good afternoon, everyone. FYF, for context, this live is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you, Kathleen. You are so right. Franny Dragonfly, thank you for all the gifts. Holy smokes. Robbie Miller as well. Don the Third G sending shining stars. You guys are so sweet. Hey, Brian's here. Hey, Brian. Cynthia Coons. What's that?
You've also got federal officials testifying on regulating the banking system today.
On regulating what?
The banking system.
Ooh. Dun, 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 dun. Wait a minute. Let me see. There's got to be one of these here. Where is it? How about this one? It was supposed to be a whip. All right, never mind. Alex is the master of all the sound effects. I'm just trying to catch on here. All right. Well, let's see. Let's move into some stories here. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the Fed is now losing $100 billion a year with no accountability. My guess is that number is considerably higher than $100 billion. I think historically they've never kept more than $500 million on their balance sheets, from what I understand, and it's in the trillions now. So is this the beginning of the end of the central banking system? Are we halfway through it? Are we close to the end? What do you think, Alex?
I think we've got a long way to go. It's apparent that money has been flowing for a long time into places that it shouldn't, and until we have accountability for that, I don't think the switch can flip.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's going to take some time, but the way things are accelerating as quickly as they are right now, I don't know how quickly. That could be much sooner than we think. Holly, what do you think?
It's political bullshit.
Exactly. One thing about it is Trump steered us right over there. We went over there. We looked at the building that is way over budget. He's just spending. Bessent opening this investigation. I just love it when we get to just look him in the eyes. And, we're all watching. And they know we're all watching.
100%. Wildlife fan, thank you for the lucky rainbow. I've never seen one of those before. That was really cool. Thank you. And Franny Dragonfly and Charlie, thank you for all the gifts. James, what are your thoughts on the Fed?
Well, due to high interest rates and expenses on bank reserves and lower income from long-term securities, their lack of accountability and transparency, the Federal Reserve Act allows the Fed to defer losses rather than recognize them as an immediate insolvency. This is a loophole for outright theft.
Yeah, 100%. Rosenleaf said we do have a long way to go. Absolutely. I would agree. I think we have a long way to go, but it's happening so fast now. Hey, conspiracy theorist 17 is here. Good morning, conspiracy theorist. David Morales over on YouTube said looking for some quality childcare in Minnesota. Anybody recommendations? So far, nobody picking up the call. Hey, John, thank you for the wave lights. Charlie, thank you for the star map. You are so sweet, you guys. Thank you. Nobody picking up the call. Not surprising at this point. So, Catherine Herridge, who we know is in the drops, typically associated with following the pen, Catherine Herridge has released a staggering interview that reveals 17% of children nationwide are the victim of sexual abuse in our public schools by school employees. This would be 8. Holly, what do you make of this with this Catherine Herridge thing?
Well, and the thing is this makes us look at men in girls' locker rooms, men in women's bathrooms. When you encompass all of that, oh yeah, I think that there's also that 17% is probably low. There's probably a lot of kids that didn't report it, that just go home and they're wondering what's happening, without reporting it.
And whenever I see a 17 in a headline, that tells me that it's part of the operation.
Yeah.
So 17 is probably just the number that they want us to catch so that we recognize what's going on, would be my guess. James, what do you think?
Well, it all starts out with verbal comments of sexual nature. The most common. Most perpetrators are males, 89.1%, teachers, 63.4%, or coaches and gym teachers at 19.7%. The majority of those who experienced educator sexual misconduct were females, 72%, and were in high school. This is a zero tolerance enforcement. Hands down, case closed. That's the end of story.
Yep, 100%. Alex?
I have a solution that costs about 50 cents right now for every single one of them.
I like that idea.
I knew you would, James. I knew you would. Holly's rubbing her hands together too.
I know.
Oh my
I'll
God.
sharpen and we'll take care of whatever's left. James.
Exactly. Full Metal Jacket said political theater equals movie. 100%. Sassy Minnesota girls here and Melfin71. Thank you all for the gifts. So kind of you. Man, I can't believe this chat is just on fire today. I'm trying to keep up here. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think I'm going to be out of breath by the end of the show. XRP Mama said it's happening in homes by their own families too. 100%, I agree. John Gwynn said that's why I always send 17 Go Populars. You're on top of it, John. That's for sure. No question. Gulliver said Second Amendment. I agree. Exactly. Brian said it's called 9mm. I think we all know what that means. Exactly. JP Metal Slayer said, I agree 100%, Alex. All right, moving on. So we talked a lot about this week about commercial real estate, residential real estate. Well, it turns out now here in California, over 1 in 5 California home sales have been canceled due to unaffordable insurance. And I think this goes across the board, not just homes, but autos. My car is 6 years old. I've had it since I bought it new. My insurance goes up every year. Every year. How is that possible when the car's value has gone down significantly every year? What do you make of it, James?
Well, it's driven by major insurance carriers pausing new policies or non-renewals of existing ones in high wildfire risk areas. Buyers are failing to secure private insurance, forcing reliance on expensive Fair Plan carriers like State Farm and Allstate. They have limited new business. The insurance cost in California has exceeded $44,000 in some cases. So you have to remind yourself the real identification or meaning of insurance is placing the burden of one misfortune among many. And you're living it and you're paying for everybody else's problems too.
Yeah,
so are
exactly. Alex?
I think insurance in all areas, whether it's healthcare, auto, home, all of it, we've talked about this multiple times over the last year, is a scam. It's ridiculous. They raise rates every year because they can. And a portion of the reason that they go up is just because they can. Other portions are, fraud, false claims, people that are insured that are abusing the systems in multiple ways. So it's another aspect that I think if the administration really puts the magnifying glass on it with the spotlight, the cockroaches are going to scatter. But when is that going to happen? I don't know. But it's ridiculous. If you took the money that you spent, if there's an accident and somebody's seriously hurt, it's insurance still doesn't pay. My son as I've told the story before, was smacked by a distracted driver, spent 21 days in ICU. You're talking $270,000+, and the insurance kicked in 50.
Wow. I remember years ago when I was married, my wife needed a hysterectomy. And so we got in touch with the doctors, the hospitals, and all this, and it was something like $30,000 or $40,000, right, is what they were going to charge. Then I went and I individually approached each individual, the doctor, the anesthesiologist, everything that I could. I got that number down to less than half by negotiating it up front. I think that's a perfect example. People just send it to insurance. Insurance pays what they're going to pay, and they write off the rest. That has to stop. Talking about the last topic we had, Kiddo said they need some things cut off. Yeah, exactly. I think you start getting serious about that kind of thing, people are going to take a second look. Melfin 70
Make Lorraine Bobbitt great again.
Yeah, exactly. Melfin 71 said, just in case you're wondering, Melfin 71 is me. Oh, it's Melissa Flinner. Oh, Melissa, you guys changing your names on me. I have no idea who the hell you are. Well, I'm glad you're here, Melissa, and I'm glad you told me that because I had no idea. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's see here. Louise Williams said, Washington State is really expensive insurance. Well, I can't imagine it's more than California, but all of that has to be dealt with, and I think it's coming. I think it's coming soon. Kiddo said, maybe then you start leasing the car instead of buying one. I know, I just don't like the leasing thing, but whatever. You might be right. Enrico said, Newscomb Hour, California. I know, but we're going to get hands around it. Rick Sr. said, when it's the law to have insurance, they can do what they want to. I think there's a lot of truth in that. And when you look at people in Congress that pass laws, and then what happens? A couple of years later, all of a sudden, they're the CEO of that company. Whether it's in the FDA, whether it's in the, Congress, it's ridiculous. And we need term limits. We need insider trading ban for Congress people. And we need to make sure that they don't go from passing laws that really have no benefit to the American people to being the CEO of that company. That's a big deal to me. What do you think, Alex?
Well, there's a reporter just recently chasing Ilhan Omar down the causeway inside of the government building and asking her questions and saying, how did you go from negative $67,000 to 30 something million dollars, and asks her about a winery that nobody can seem to find. And, her response was, well, you need to get your facts straight. Well, so you didn't make that money? It's on record in this winery that nobody can find. Exactly. And she's Ilhan Omar's like, well, do you want to buy some wine? She's like, absolutely. I'll buy some right now.
Yeah. Crickets, right? Exactly. XRP Mama said it's a Ponzi scheme. End of story. 100%. I agree. All right. Let's see here. Rosen Lee said, I just had to pay 80% of my dentist work because my insurance decided they weren't going to pay. I'm telling you, this insurance thing, President Trump is highlighting the healthcare insurance companies, but it's across the board. It's not just healthcare. It's car insurance. It's home insurance. It's every kind of insurance that we can imagine. And again, that's another example of Congress passing a law, and then those people that passed that law, this is decades ago, all of a sudden they're parts of the corporations that are benefiting the most from it. That has got to be dealt with. And I'm hopeful that it's coming soon. Hey, Lord Bullion's here. Hey, Lord. Glad you can make it. Sassy Minnesota girl said, health insurance premium is killing me. It went up $150 a month on January 1st. I can't come up with $150. I know, Sassy. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Benji 1959 said, Trump is Q+. Gee, you think? Ben, of course he is. John Gwynn said, squirrels hiding in plain sight. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Cheryl's here. Growkind Hair Loss System said, our UK national insurance used to cover everything. They took a bit away over the decades, bit by bit. Well, that's what they do. They raise the temperature slowly so you don't recognize it, immediately. Full Metal Jacket said, utility companies are gouging as well. Folks in Alabama struggling. It's across the board. I 100% I agree. D said in Florida, insurance rates are very high. Exactly. Lee said we have the same damn problem here in Washington that California does. I know. I think well, again, it's every blue state, right, guys? It's the blue states that are the problems. I don't see why people can't see that. I don't know. Just beyond me at this point. So, former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from teaching at Harvard at the end of this academic year over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, in addition to that, President Trump brought a civil rights suit against UCLA. How many times has President Trump gone after academia? We all know that they're part of this nefarious plot and have been for a very long time. What do you make of it, Holly?
It's just the DOJ, they got their hands in everything. And the thing is there's so much that we just overlook day to day until President Trump highlights it. And so much of this stuff, you start going backwards and you're going backwards and going, oh my gosh, he's bringing all of this to the surface so much that we've just went, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. I'm telling you what, this guy has got his hands in so much.
And it's one domino after another. We're seeing it happen in the UK. We're seeing it happen in specifically with academia here in America. James, what do you make of it all?
Well, UCLA, it's definitely a rendition of what Harvard went through. The suit by the DOJ alleges UCLA fosters a hostile work environment for Jewish and Israeli faculty and staff, violating Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. In a previous suit they just settled last July, it was a $6 million settlement for student safety. There's been campus protests, lack of free speech, and of course, anti-Semitism. What's at stake? $1 billion in federal funding annually. The entire University of California system gets $17 billion annually, and UCLA is a top recipient for health, science, and engineering classes. So, just like Harvard, they lost their money. I guarantee you, University of California is going to lose theirs too.
Yeah, 100%. He's going after all of academia. We have to. They're indoctrinating the kids. They have been for decades. It has to stop. Alex?
Take it all.
Yeah.
Take it all.
Exactly.
How much money does Harvard have stashed away per student? Millions and millions. How does that happen? Government money. That's how that happens. And then, the students are stuck with the debt, coming out with a piece of paper that's not worth what it's printed on, for them to try and find jobs that don't exist in an economy that's been wrecked. I mean, it's just this big loop, right? And again, the man doesn't pass gas without a plan. So it's going to take time. It's probably going to be his fourth term before we get it finished.
Yeah, exactly. 2028. Sue B is here. Good morning, Sue. Hokey Gigi just showed up. Good morning, Hokey. Wow. Okay, so here's, just so everybody understands, I'm not ignoring any comments. My chat sits still, and then all of a sudden runs up 100 different things. And I'm if I miss something, please repeat it. I Speak 1717 said I hit a tree on my 2-track and my insurance went up. Not surprising. I'm telling you, it's got to be dealt with, and it's got to be dealt with soon. All right, let's do a quick sponsor break here. Yeah, we're close enough because I keep forgetting it every other time. So
you're early.
I know, 2 minutes early. I'm on top of it today. So Mike Lindell, Mike's running for the governorship of Minnesota. Mike has earned our business, in my opinion. Now, there's two ways to support Mike. Go to mystore.com or go to mypillow.com. He's got hundreds of products. If he offers anything, and they send us products to sample, and they have since the beginning. There's not one product that I've tried that I don't love. So if you need something that Mike offers, please give him the business. Go to mystore.com or mypillow.com and use the code SAM. It benefits this channel, it benefits Mike, and I dare say it benefits America. Neil Naturopathic, chemical-free, toxin-free hair care products. Dr. Neil has developed these products. He used to use them initially for cancer patients. So they are toxin-free. Go to neilnaturopathic.com or go to my website, samshalhoub.com, click on Dr. Neal's button, use the code SAM20, that's SAM20, and you'll get a 20% discount on your order. And then, of course, Dr. Peter Glidden. Dr. Glidden will be with us again tomorrow, Friday morning, as usual, for our health and wellness. Doc has put together a website where you can ask him virtually any question you can think of when it comes to health and wellness. Go to my website, click on Dr. Glidden's button, use the code SAM for a 30% discount. Now, his rates are going up soon. I don't know when, if it's tomorrow or a month from now, but if you're going to do it now. And, of course, Best Line Racing, engine and oil additives par excellence. Go to my website, click on the Best Line Racing button, and use the code SAM. And of course, last but certainly not least, meditation, Alex.
This concludes our edition of Sam's Pillow Talk. Somebody said Pillow Talk. That was fun. Good job. Link is in my information. If you just click on my name in my box, there's a link. It's on Amazon. If you're not on TikTok, you can go to amazon.com, search Alex Raymer. You will find a copy of A Beginner's Guide to a Life-Changing Meditation. 20 minutes a day, folks. It'll change your life.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Melvin 70. I keep forgetting that is Melissa Flinner. Melissa, thank you for all the gifts. You guys do. I am convinced that Sassy and Melissa Flinner and so many, Teresa Faria, you guys all got together and said, you know what? Let's screw with Sam. Let's change our screen name so he has no idea who it is. Holy smokes. Lace and Steel is here.
Man. Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. I'm on to you guys. Lace and Steel, thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for being here. Oh, my gosh. PJ Party said, wow, now Alex can read bedtime stories. There you go. I like that.
You are fake news.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I Speak 1717 said, Sam, it's just a glitch in the matrix. You might not be wrong there, I Speak. I'm telling you. Holy smokes.
Wrong.
All right. So moving on. Sue B said it keeps you on your toes, Sam. Yes, it does. Boy, that is an understatement, Sue B. 100%. Mary Lee Brown, thank you for the gifts. Melissa Flinner, Melvin71 said, I thought it might be easier if it was shorter to say. It is. I just didn't know it was you at first. Blue Flames 41, thank you for the gifts. So kind of you. So according to Zero Hedge, the CME, and I'm going to come to you first on this one, Alex. The CME halts all metals and national gas markets yesterday due to a technical issue. What do you make of that, Alex?
Technology is heavily dependent on, right, across all forms and kinds of industries. Who knows what they have going on? Is there, as we would hope, some sort of switch happening in the background when these glitches happen? That'd be great. We just are gonna have to keep our foot on the gas and see where the train goes. I don't think it's gonna be long. I know we have a long way to go. Rosenleaves has said it in the chat. They're following the money. They're following where the fraud is. We know that paper markets are being flushed out in these price drives and the way things that are happening. So, who knows? We had a 4.1 earthquake in Kansas yesterday. Anything can happen.
Wow. Maybe some tunnels in Kansas. Holly, what do you make of it?
Oh, well, I just love it how we start to have this momentum going up and all of a sudden everything freezes. And you're looking at it. It's the consensus with all the 63 banks that are failing because they're billions of dollars in hot water. Metals are going up and everything comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
So, ramping up, they will put, as long as they have the ability to throw a wrench in the works, they're throwing a wrench in the works.
James?
Stop it.
Well, it's interesting that what they cite for the problem. Globex Metals halted trading due to a technical issue, and I don't believe that. In my opinion, it was a tactic of covering a naked short or naked shorts. I was watching silver yesterday climb like a rocket, and then all of a sudden, boom, came to a screeching halt. CME is the largest exchange, provides benchmark products across rates, equities, metals, energy, cryptocurrencies, and agriculture.
Yeah.
You are
again-
fake news.
And again, I think the Patriots have more control than people realize. And I think part of this is to expose what's been going on for decades. I just had a conversation with somebody this morning talking about, oh, nice, Lace and Steel. Thank you for the good evening. Is it evening where you at? I don't think so. Anyway, I was having this conversation and we were talking about what Joe Rambo calls the seagrass. I call the general population. You have to show them something over and over and over again. Not like this audience. The people here in this audience are very well read. You have done a lot of research. You wouldn't be part of this show if you weren't. So I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about the general population. You have nice glasses, James. You have to show them over and over and over for them to get it. It's a combination of toxicity, nutritional deficiency, and cognitive dissonance. That's what's going on. And I think that's why it's taking so long. You can't, a cruise ship doesn't make a 90-degree turn. What happens is it takes miles for that cruise ship to make that course change. And I think that's what we're in the middle of here. And I bring it up over and over again because I think it's important. People, we all get impatient. We all want things to happen quickly, but you don't want to do it at the expense of our population. You want to bring them along as well and as gently as possible. Stein said, I showed up late. Can you start over? No, we can't start over, Stein. But everybody needs to know.
Political bullshit.
Everybody needs to know that, oh, wow, what is that? Lace and Steel set waving lights. How cool is that? Thank you, Lace. Now I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. So if you have missed part of the show, you want to watch it again, if you heard something that you weren't sure about, if you go to my Rumble, YouTube, X accounts, you can oh, we got another Trump train, Don the Third. Thank you, Don. If you go to any one of those accounts that I have, you can go to my website and you can click the link and it'll take you right to that platform. You can watch, there's a replay on there. And then also I want to remind everybody what we discovered. So many of you have sent me messages about becoming a super fan on TikTok. Apparently they're changing the algorithms consistently and constantly. So you need to download or update the app. And then once you've updated the app, you should be able to join as a super fan. And thank you to all of those who have joined it. It supports this channel. It makes me feel good. And I'm grateful for the recognition as well. Doug Rice 59, thank you for all the gifts, sir. Brian with squirrels in the chat. Brian, you just cracked me up, man. You are consistent with the squirrels. I got to tell you, I got to give you that much, man. Cracks me up. April Burgess is here. Hey, April. All right, let's move on. And Brian, of course, for entertainment and educational purposes only. Isn't that the truth? You guys always have our back in the chats. I love that. These, oh God, we have got some trolls over on YouTube today. I'm not going to be repeating some of these, but I would encourage people that are, if it's a bot, never mind. If it's a person, encourage you to do some research. Some of the conclusions that you're coming to are just not logical. But that being said, we won't be repeating those things on air. John Gwynn said about 100 squirrels. I know, yeah, he's on top of it. Believe me. Dana Mackey's here. Batten Ballin putting FYF in the chat. Thank you, Batten Ballin. So this next story is really interesting, and I think there has got to be more than meets the eye. ICE is going to open a 1 million square foot facility in Georgia. Now, I don't care what anybody says. I don't see why you would need that unless there's something else going on that just doesn't meet the eye. Holly, what do you make of it?
And that's the thing, is how many unsealed indictments do we have? That's my only, and they say many of these indictments have many, 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 many inside. So you might unseal one indictment and it has 350 names. When you start doing the math, you know what? I think that they're bringing in judges. They're going to spread them out. I think that's what's going on.
Well, and if you're right, if it is RICO, which we believe it is, if there's 600,000 that they're talking about, it could be millions behind
Yes.
that. James?
Definitely for sure. There's actually two sites going up in Georgia. One is in Social Circle, and the other one is in Oakwood in Hall County. Between the two, obviously Social Circle is between 7,500 and 10,000 detainees, and Hall County is between 1,400 and 1,600. It's a $68 million project with 150 million in retrofitting alone. These new centers will employ 2,000 to 2,500 staff, and no builder contracts have been awarded yet, but it should be by the end of next week.
Yep. Alex,
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
there you go. Exactly. So, go ahead, Alex.
I just that's all there is. I mean, the man's got a plan, and until the curtain gets peeled back and we see the final act, I don't think any of us can guess about what's coming. But it's definitely coming.
You know, Rosen Leaves in the chat said, "Let's talk Iran." Well, I specifically left that out of today's report because there's a lot happening there. We know how much armament is over there. James, how much do we have over there right now? Do you know off the top of your head?
There's only one word to describe it, Sam: a shitload.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So now, not only do we have what's going on with Iran, now you have Israel and Iran talking about bombing Israel. People in the U.S. government saying, "Well, Israel needs to make the first strike." You have J.D. Vance talking about leading, a possible strike out there. There's so much chatter about it, and there's so many different attack vectors that I left it out today. But it's a good point to bring up, Rosen Leaves. That my opinion is we don't know what the hell's going on there. First, President Trump says we obliterated their nuclear facilities. Now they're coming back and saying, well, they still may be able to make uranium or enriched uranium. So I don't really know what to make of it. James, just off the top of your head, what do you think about this whole Iran thing?
Well, in the biggest problem is Iran has tried to go beyond what could be feasibly used for personal use, whether it's small nuclear powered devices like what we've talked about here in the United States. They've exceeded the nuclear enrichment or uranium enrichment program by 60%, and we had asked not to do that. We went over. Israel led the first one. Israel wants to tap on them again. They will not come to the table. I read up on it this morning, and that was going to be part of my report, but it's just it's a lot of talk. I think they're going to run out of time. We've poised 2 aircraft carrier groups. We have over 1,500 jets in the region, and it looks like trouble's going to happen. When they finally say no, they're trying to bait us with other things like rare earth minerals. They want to buy energy. They want to sell us oil. They're doing everything they can to not face the music of nuclear power, and they've gone too far. And it's up to us to take that away from them.
But like you said, James, there's so much chatter over there. It's hard to really to see through the noise. And I think they're specifically doing that for a reason. I can't tell you what that reason is, but it sure seems like somebody in the chat had said something about, Steve said it's always been look here, not there. I think that's part of it. I think there is much more going on than meets the eye. Alex, do you have any just off the top of your head what you think is happening in Iran?
I think we're going to win Washington State.
It's a tricky situation over there if you understand the history and what happened when the United States went in before and installed the current set of ayatollahs that are in control of that country, and what that political environment looked like and why we did it, to understand that Trump's going to come in and clean up the mess of the past, right? He doesn't pass gas without a plan. I think that there are only a few places left on this planet that peace has not has not come to the surface yet, and this is one of those places. And in those places, I mean, look at the EU and what's going on over there. They're tearing themselves apart, right? They're any state that is going to stand up and say, you know what, we're not going to conform. We're going to keep our free speech. We're going to keep our freedoms. We're going to do the things that we need to do. They're imploding on themselves. The Middle East is a place where the nefarious actors still have the ability to work their agenda. And we have, as James said, a shitload of firepower over there, and I think it's a deterrent. I don't know what's going on. I know there were some headlines yesterday about some things happening there. I don't think it's going to be the mistakes of the past. I think it's going to be just like the Operation Midnight Hammer. We're going to go in, we're going to take care of what we need to take care of, and then Venezuela, hand it over to the people, right? And let them. There's definitely an uprising going on there. This is what, a month and a half, 2 months now, almost going on. The truth will rise to the top. The sun and the truth are guaranteed to rise, but we don't know when.
Yeah, Rosenleaf said the same thing with the Ukraine, and then real AFP said, and let's not forget about Mexico. And I just want to encourage everybody to understand, at least in my opinion and from my perspective, what we're seeing on social media or the major broadcast networks is what they want us to see. We don't actually know what's happening. We can speculate, we can try and put bits and pieces together like Holly and I do every day. We put bits and pieces together, we try to figure out in the tapestry of what's going on the general direction. But again, we don't know for sure. And,
Well,
and
it's like Rumi that was in here yesterday, the young man from Syria. Social media is such Habibi.
exactly.
To get the social media is so great because we make these connections through my meditation classes and the things that I did 6, 7, 8 years ago. You make connections all over the world, and so it's easier now for us to get the information from the source of people that are in those places. Like I said, I remember Rumi playing his keyboard for all of the TikTok followers, and literally outside of his apartment window you can hear machine gun fire going off, and you get the opportunity to ask, hey, what's really going on? And so I think, Sam, to some extent there is a propagandization. I don't know, propagandization of what information they put out, in the narrative they wanted us to believe. But in the information age that we're in now, it's really hard for them to keep that agenda, because we do have access to people and information and stories. And I think we have a better understanding of what's going on than what we would have, say, if this happened 40, 50, 60 years ago, right? Back in the first couple of world wars, you had to wait. It was the newspapers or word of mouth or things. It took a very long time. They don't have that advantage anymore. So
right.
We're going to have to be patient and see how this all plays out. But like I say, the man doesn't go anywhere without a plan.
Mr. Alton's here. Hey, Mr. Alton. Batten Ballin said information/disinformation, psychological warfare at its finest. 100%. I agree. JP Metal Slayer said saving Israel for last. Exactly. Rosenleaf says it's a powerful leg to be knocked out. It is. David said, make wax great again. Oh, my God. I thought we were dodging that whole bullet. Apparently not. You guys just cracked me up. I Speak 1717 said, I wonder if pallets of cash are still there. Yeah, believe me, it's gone. There's nothing but dust left over there, in my opinion. Let's see. You guys are just cracking me up in the chat today. Rosenleaf said propaganda is a whole nother ballgame. It's not just the media anymore. 100%. I couldn't agree more. All right, moving on. So we've talked about California and the incredible levels of fraud here. We've talked about the kids being attacked. We've talked about the price of homes, the price of gasoline, the nefarious players, specifically Newsom and others. Well, guess what happened? The LA superintendent of the school board, a guy by the name of Alberto Carvalho, was just arrested yesterday here in California. He was hit with search warrants and sealed affidavits. Is this the beginning of the end of California here, James? What do you think?
Sam, I really don't know about that. I think it's definitely a highlighted case. When you have as many school districts in LA, which there happens to be 80 public school districts, and with 1,000 schools, and they serve over 927,000 students, you're going to have some problems with those kind of numbers. Just happens to be a superintendent. I believe that superintendent was also down. He came out of Florida, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and he might have started out over there in bad attitude and came over to California because that's the only school system that would take him.
It's
Uh,
possible, yeah.
it's hard to say. I mean, everybody's got a background, everybody's got a past. So whether or not he had that going on in Florida, I don't know that.
Yeah. Holly, what's your take?
This guy's got a basket full of crap behind him, man. He had missing money in Miami-Dade. They had some missing money. And he admits 40 years ago he was illegal. He comes here 76.7 million in missing money. You know what? It just goes to show when they are going for corruption, they're opening books. They're going after corruption. I'm like, they just pulled this guy right out of the hat. I'm like, they're looking everywhere because I'm like, there's like 3 or 4 pages. This guy's got some history.
Right. Exactly. Alex?
Sorry, I had it muted. History's right, and I think that when that history starts to come to light, the accountability, right? We all just keep pushing. We want the accountability, and I think patience is one of the most difficult lessons that we learn in this life. And boy, are we having to exercise it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Beverly Howard just made it. Said, I'm late today. Well, that's okay. We won't scold you too much, Beverly. Just glad you made it. John Gwynn said that wax bullet will cost more than 50 cents. The wax bullet. Oh my gosh, you guys are just cracking me up. Yep, wildlife fan. I saw that today. I'm going to talk about that on the dispatch tomorrow. Mama Balama said all these heads were placed strategically and we're now seeing it fall. It's kind of great. It is very great. 100%. How many of the it's my personal opinion that the Q operation started a long time ago. My guess is probably around the time JFK was unalived. And it's taken this long because you have this deep state really got its firm grips in 1871 with the Act of 1871. And then within a few years, you had the Federal Reserve created the Congress and all their wisdom passes the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. Then you have Social Security and income tax implemented a couple of years after that. And then you have in 1970, you have Richard Nixon pulling us off the gold and silver standard completely. And that was bad enough. Then you have fractional banking introduced in America in the early 70s. And we went from a 1-to-1 ratio to a 1-to-9 ratio in the banks. That was the beginning of the end. It's going to take time for all of this to get rooted out. This hydra is deep and wide. Any ideas, James?
You're right about that. It is deep and wide. But as all this news we cover rolls out, if you think back to the paper milling of college education degrees or certificates, they're going to dig up all that dirt. And there's so much that's coming up. I just say let it all out like a dump truck and let them puke.
Yep, exactly. Alex?
So much conspiracy found to be fact that Bill Maher himself came out on his program and said, I was wrong about QAnon.
Exactly.
We know that there's Q and we know that there are anonymous. Someday, hopefully, they get that right. I identify as a conspiracy theorist, and my pronouns are "I told you so."
Exactly. Hey, Magic's here. Hey, good morning, Magic. Glad you could make it. Oh,
Mega Dave's trolling the chat. You can see it in there.
is he in there?
Oh
Dave.
yeah, he's in there.
Oh yeah. There he is.
Must
Mega
be in
Dave.
between
Smile
slot
a little,
machines.
James. Oh, hey, Dave. How is the farm show today? We're so on to you, dude. Nice try. But hopefully he'll be back next week with us. We'll see what happens. All right, moving on. So James Woods on X. This dude's a patriot, right? He is one of the exceptions in Hollywood. We've been following each other on X for years. So this is before he went supernova on X. I don't even know how he found out who I was, but he follows me. I follow him. And I've seen his progression of patriotism over the years. And he comes out yesterday and posts that there's $750 million in 1 year for the LA Unified School District settling sexual harassment claims. $750 million in 1 year here in LA. Holly, what do you make of it?
I'm just, you get the calculator out. Because you multiply that by all of these blue states. Look at the pot that Congress has for their sexual harassment. I'm telling you what, our DOJ is going to have to, didn't they take, we're going to need more people with a calculator, because that's a lot of money to cover up this. It's lunacy.
I know.
The sexual harassment countrywide, just getting paid. Shut up. We'll just line your pocket, little bit in the palm, and just walk away. Makes me sick.
100%. James?
Well, that's with the student capacity in LA County alone of 927,000. You have to think that the entire state of California serves 6 million kids K through 12. This is only one isolated case, or excuse me, this isn't one isolated case. This is one that's been brought to the surface of that kind of money. It's kind of like, do you think Gavin's in on some of that stuff, like the bridge to nowhere, the tracks to nowhere? I mean, they got to be getting this money from somewhere, and to think that the Californians have to pay for that in taxation, that's criminal.
Yeah, 100%.
They should all hang for that.
Alex?
First, I think you should send Mr. Woods a message and see if he'd be interested in coming on the show. I
would love to have him on.
His fire, his passion, his posts on X. I adore the man.
Yeah.
I like to step outside of the confines of the Hollywood handcuffs and just. He goes scorched earth on a regular basis. So if you guys aren't following James Woods on X, you absolutely must. We're going to continue to find places that the cockroaches are hiding their stash. And like Holly said, it's staggering the amount of money that when the dust settles from all of this, I don't think any of us could even guesstimate what that number is going to be, and hopefully, we're going to get to witness the accountability side of the fraud.
Yeah, 100%.
1 million square feet in Georgia.
Exactly. Very good point, Holly. Mega Dave just posted it in the chat. I'm chasing a one-armed bandit right now. Exactly. We're so on to you, Dave. Lisa Maria said, I think Dave is also drinking margaritas in the sun. Wouldn't surprise me. Believe me, would not surprise me. David said, taxpayers, wax payers, same thing, different day. Gen X Holt says, I love James Wood. XRP Mama said, come on, Jag. Yeah, and there are a lot of JAG officers in Washington, D.C. that were brought in not too long ago. JP Metal Slayer said wood chippers for every single one of them. I couldn't agree with you more there. JP could not agree more.
Fargo.
Send them to Fargo.
Fargo, yeah.
There it is.
What's that?
Send them to Fargo.
Yeah, Fargo's famous for that.
Yeah, exactly. Brian said short piece of rope and a big tall tree. Absolutely. Rosenleaf said military tribunals. Doug Rice said Gitmo. Exactly.
Yeah.
Rick Sr. said, I've heard way too much about wax. You and me both, Rick. Oh, hey, some random guy speaks here is over on YouTube. Hey, welcome in. All right, everybody. So that's it for today. Let's see where we are at. I moved my screens around. 112,000 likes. You guys are awesome. Awesome. John Langloy. Everybody, thank you for the gifts. I want to give some honorable mentions to John Gwynn, Layson Steele, Don the Third G, Charlie, Benji 1959, Wildlife Fan, Franny Dragonfly, Melfin71, aka Melissa Flinner, Wendy J, Mama Blama or Mama Balama, XRP, and you got to do the tongue twisters on me too, don't you? XRP Mama, Wendy, Rosen Leaves, PJ Party Hits, and the list goes on. Thank you all for the gifts. All right, so we are going to be turning off Facebook and Facebook and YouTube now. Let me say this. Goodbye to everyone over on those platforms. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Don't forget, tomorrow is Dr. Glidden's day with us. Have a great day.